I've got some stuff planned on the back burner, but for right now, welcome to Fish Talk. Today we're gonna talk about fish. What is a fish? This is a fish. This is a fish. This is not a fish. This is a fish but shouldn't be. This is a mammal. And this is just a tire. How do you know if something is a fish? Because I get that that was pretty vague with the examples and all. Well, it usually looks like a fish, and it has gills. That's about as far as you go for defining features. What about whales and dolphins? Well, first of all, be more creative. Mention something like dugongs or manatees. Make my job a little harder. Second of all, are you even listening? They have lungs. They don't lay eggs. They need normal air, and they are warm-blooded. It's like you didn't even think to think before you thought what you thought. Don't do it again. It's disrespectful to our collective animal class. Unless, of course, you're an amphibian, in which case, my bad, I apologize. I understand it may be difficult to consider the limitations of others, given your innate ability to ball out in terms of evolution. I hope the chemicals in the water haven't turned you all gay yet. I'm gonna be going over some of my all-time favorite freshwater fish today, and don't ask me about saltwater fish. The ocean is fucking scary, and I don't like to talk about it. Oh, but the beach is... I said the ocean, you idiot, not the beach. Can you even fathom the terror of the abyss? An endless supply of nothingness consuming the horizon, and in that nothingness lay monsters of the depths, capable of... and that's where it cuts off. I gave up on typing the rest of that because I went to go throw up and couldn't get back in the dramatic headspace. The arapaima is my all-time peak favorite fish, which is sad because I would love to fish for one, but I would have to go to South America in order to find them. That's not likely, as I will be a felon long before I work up the courage to touch parasite-filled jungle water. It's just a matter of likelihoods. Arapaima don't make sense, because they evolved good until they got very stupid and now have to surface for air every so often. And they look like a sack full of coins. I tell you what though, that's not for show. These fearsome phallus fish can thrash harder than the pit of a 90s Pantera concert. It is astronomical how much power they have. Have you ever tried to run through chest-deep water? If you haven't, shit's harder than P. Diddy in a kiddie pool. You do not move quickly. I mention this for one reason. While fully submerged, arapaima are able to hit a human being with so much force it can break their rib cage. Now, how the hell did we find that out? Because they did it so much, certain tribes in the Amazon began telling stories of the water mama. What the fuck is a water mama? Good question. It's a big old red mermaid that keeps drowning people while they sit in a canoe or wash clothes in the river. You don't exactly need to be a rocket surgeon to put this puzzle together, but I'll do it for you anyway. These things get spooked, they thrash around, all of a sudden Tim Tam or whoever the fuck gets dumped in the water. Panic sets in because you're getting attacked by a goddamn monster. You try to breathe, but you're still underwater, and after that, your lungs are so full of water you're never going to use a blowgun again. What a shame. Some other interesting shit about arapaimas: these fish don't migrate. What does that mean? It means they aren't going to help you run a roofing company on the cheap. They also have ample possibility to develop new species, given that there's likely isolated groups of them all over the Amazon. It's kind of like Darwin and his finches in the Galapagos. What the dick are Darwin's finches? Charles Darwin, the guy who popularized evolution, or at least the guy who began writing in depth about it, took note of various finches across various islands in the Galapagos. He said to himself, and he wrote down, "Hey, these are all the same bird, but they all got different faces. Why is this?" And then he took a look at the islands. Island number 1 had hard nuts. Pause. And the finches there developed beaks to crush them. Island 2 had stabby-faced finches, because they were out doing woodpecker shit. This was the case all over the islands. Different tools developed for different jobs, but still the same bird. So Darwin proposed the groundwork of what we know as evolution today. Something to the effect of, the ones that sucked at adaptation died, the ones that mutated to survive got to fucking have kids that lived, and passed on those genes, and now we're here. My next featured fish pisses me off. Welcome to bull sharks. Oh, but you said only freshwater fish, and bull sharks are saltwater fish, and yeah, that's kind of my point here about how they piss me off. You see, sharks are bullshit. They break all of the fish rules, and bull sharks are the worst offenders. You know that story inspiring Jaws has nothing to do with a great white shark, right? You fucking better. Great white sharks got their PR department firebombed and fucked to death after that movie. And yes, great whites kill and attack the most people. But people are dumbasses, especially when people saw or received a shark attack. Why does this matter? Well, someone's got to go on the record saying what kind of shark it was, don't they? And you can guess what shark everybody knows about. That's right, the shark from Jaws. But you want to know who probably did it? These over-aggressive motherfuckers. Bull sharks are the YNs of marine biology. They exist purely for the sake of crashing out and hitting licks, and they wish someone would be dumb enough to try. Okay, that's not entirely true. Not all sharks are default aggressive. Don't walk into the water with that presupposition. If you're really afraid of sharks, just don't go in the water. But if you need a little comfort, you're more likely to get killed by a falling vending machine, a coconut that's being a little too affected by gravity, a cow. That's all more likely than you getting killed by a shark. I think that's all more likely than you being attacked by a shark. But I digress. I have to finish this point. Fuck Shark Week. Sharks are weird assholes, and I'll tell you why. How many bones does a shark have? Just take a guess. Take your wildest guess, whatever it may be. Is it 10, 50, 200 even? If you said anything more than 0, you're wrong. Sharks don't have bones. It's hard cartilage. So, how can you trust something that evolved the fucking skeleton out of themselves? I beg you that question. I definitely don't trust different kinds of cephalopods. Octopus are basically aliens, so I'm not trusting those. These things have been around longer than the goddamn dinosaurs, and they have an infinite teeth glitch as well. And the bull shark still looked at all of that and decided it's not enough. That's right, the bull sharks got the DLC version of being a testosterone torpedo. They said, I'm gonna go live in freshwater, no sweat, just to make sure these hairless apes don't get too cocky. One of these feral shit submarines took the Mississippi all the way up to St. Louis. I'm not sure what happened after that, but I'm guessing it got killed in a drive-by. Do you think I'm done? Well, you're right, because I actually want to talk about catfish now. Catfish are scary, and I will not hear otherwise. But me and Jethro go noodling for him all the time. Well, fuck you, Bubba. Between the two of you, you're still a couple of chromosomes short of a full set. I'm just kidding. Nobody dumb enough to forearm fuck a catfish hole was making it through all that evolution talk. Now, some of you may question why I think catfish are so menacing, especially given that they are consistently voted the most biblically accurate depiction of a, quote, let me read it here, retarded fish. Well, my friend, that is exactly why. With a retarded fish comes retarded fish strength. Catfish are basically the aquatic version of a girl rocking a wolf cut, brow piercings, and words tattooed on the back of her thighs. Both of these bitches are gonna try to put your whole foot in their mouth and ruin your life in an instant. If you ever see me fishing on a riverbank, do not startle me under any circumstances. I'm not happy to see you. That's a 357 in my pants. I have it in case I need to turn one of these wide-mouthed shit pitchers into a canoe on short notice. Oh, calm down. It's just a catfish. You shut your damn mouth. It's just a catfish. It's a demonic vacuum from hell. Do you understand the concept of an anchor? Imagine that, but it's actively fighting you, not just holding one area. These beady-eyed bastards will deep-throat your extremities like they're a stripper trying to pay off all 4 years of student loans in one go. If you can't figure out why that's bad, use your brain. Catfish brain sees squirmy thing, considers it food. Catfish gulps up your foot. You try to swim, catfish doesn't give a shit. You start sinking, catfish still doesn't give a shit. The story ends with a bloated corpse that's got a suffocated catfish on its leg. I'm just kidding. The other fish probably ate most of you. Nature is fucked up like that. Not enough people have had near-death experiences with waters, and it really shows. A lot of you just fuck up and die round one, and it's not good. If you can't swim, go figure it out soon. The Earth is 71% water. It's good to know how to stay alive while you're in it. Drowning is a really shitty way to die. I recommend against it. Up next, we have snakeheads. These are aquatic roaches. I say this because they are practically invincible. Do not misinterpret this as me saying they scatter when pressed. They actually get more aggressive. Honey badger is a much more appropriate comparison. They are aquatic, meth-addled honey badgers. If you pull this thing out of the water and slap it on somewhat muddy ground, it basically becomes a shitty snake. These fish have eaten dogs on land. That's not normal. I don't really blame the fish on this one. It's probably the owner's fault for buying a shitty, tiny dog. Maybe next time you get a companion that realizes it has legs and is small. One or the other. Things like bichons and pugs should not exist to begin with. One exists to look like a shit-stained cotton ball, and the other is in eternal torment. Anyone responsible for the continued breeding of pugs, whether it be directly or indirectly via purchasing the poor bastards, I detest you. They should not exist. It's like adopting a kid just to give him a respiratory infection. Rescues, you guys are doing different stuff. Don't worry about it. Finally, everyone's least favorite fish, the stingray. Yeah, I know. I'm not huge on them either after what happened to Steve, but I'll tell you what. Vilifying them is the last thing he would ever want us to do. I get it, though. Revenge is easy, and it's easier with something we don't understand. You don't know why it's a fish other than it's in the water, and... me too, man. It's weird. The thing breaks more fish rules than the sharks do, which was already a lot. Not only do they have no bones, they give birth live, and they've got this weird stabbing thing protruding out of their ass, but does that even matter? Look at it. It feels unnatural to call a stingray a fish. It's a doormat with a knife, and they can be several hundred pounds for some reason. I mean, I get why. Most of these suction fish are huge because they can just scoop everything up off the floor and ignore whatever's going on above them, but also, come on. Reaching over 400 pounds for a stingray, most people can't even fathom that. Like, these pictures look fake. Something is not right with that. Needing shark equipment for a stingray is simply not okay, even if they are different flavors of the same ice cream. So, yeah, that's your fish talk for today. I'll be back with gaming on the next one, and expect more fish talks in the future, because this was surprisingly easy content. If you need teammates for whatever you find yourself into, there's a Discord in the description for that. Have a good one.